Hey guys, this is a review I did a few years ago for an adult comic book called Lawful Evil, and I don't know what I filmed this on, but both the audio and the video aren't that great, so just keep that in mind. I apologize for that up front. From time to time, I do review comic books, not a lot, but when I do, it's probably something like this or something really big that I found in the mainstream comic arena. So let's jump into it. I saw this and I wanted to actually grab a copy of it. And this is a book called Lawful Evil. Let me try to get this in focus here. Okay, now it is an indie comic and it's one that I was interested in. And don't let this cover fool you. It's some good stuff. One of the things about my books, a lot of my books, they're mature readers' books, and they have a little bit of sex in them sometimes, some violence, and a lot of times you're not going to get anything too racy. You're probably going to get, maybe some nudity sometimes and maybe some R-rated sex. The reason this book caught my attention is because this is an actual adult comic book, like an honest to goodness, old school adult comic. Now, it doesn't have like as much sex in it as some of the 90s stuff did, because the 90s books were like just like over the top. But this has like some actual adult stuff in it. And the reason it was shocking to me was because most printers don't print adult comics anymore. Back in the 90s, you could get actual adult comics. But now, because of some places have obscenity laws, which this is the thing, right? You're in America, and yes, you have freedom of speech, but there are places in America where you can be arrested or fined for said speech. So don't think everybody agrees with those constitutional rights, because, yeah, you see how that's going. Since I didn't put an adult warning or anything up, I'm not going to show any adult stuff in the. I'm just going to open up and kind of show you the art here. Let's see. Make sure this isn't any of the. Okay, so this is what the art is like. It's kind of cartoony, mixed with kind of a superhero-y style. Let me see if I can get this where, get the light off of it so the page will show a little bit more. There we go. So it's kind of a cartoony style mixed with a superhero style, and it matches the story. So the art matches the story, and the story is actually interesting. You have some superheroes, basic superheroes here, and you have the good guy, and you have uh, the guy everybody thinks is a good guy. So you have this guy, Jamal, who's kind of like a Batman type, but he's got a few superpowers and things like that. He's got some, some trick weapons, things like that, and he's got a girlfriend and everything. And um, this is a succubus. And you read my stuff, we're a lot of succubi running around now. But this is a succubus character, so she is one of their supervillains, and her character is she runs around screwing everybody. That is literally what she's evil because she's a demon. But at the end of the day, we've yet to see her do anything particularly evil except, kind of screw as many people as possible. But the thing about it is she likes him and she kind of wants to get with him. And, he's faithful and all that good stuff. But of course, his girlfriend's out there trying to get that, get up with whoever man at the time. And there's a superhero named Primer. Primer is like the superhero, the Superman guy. He's the guy that everyone loves and all the women love him, and he's the number one hero. And this guy is kind of like the C-list guy. So he's not as popular. He was at one point, but now Primer's the big hero. So turns out that his girlfriend is cheating with Primer. So the situation here is they're going to kind of get together and try to teach Primer a lesson, if you will. So each one of them have something to gain, but I'm not going to like tell you the whole story because it's actually, the thing about the story is it would be very easy to make a story like this and not have it really be about anything. But they didn't do that. They actually made a story that made you very quickly invested in the character, even though it's kind of a silly story, and you can tell it's one of those stories to, have this character have a bunch of sex with people. But it's an interesting read. It's a definite throwback. Another thing is we talk about funding comic books. Now, I found this guy in a Facebook group for Black comic book creators, and I followed his work. We connected on Instagram. I saw that he had his, he had got his copies, and I was like, bruh, how can I get a copy? So I went ahead, bought one, and this is what I got. I actually went ahead today and bought the alternative cover, because the other cover for this, because that's the cover I really like. It's this really kind of cool cover with her kind of like on his back, and he's in a superhero costume. But who prints adult comics today? Because the major comic book printers don't print adult comics. And I remember a while ago I was asking, why don't they do that? The one printer said, they send it to your city. Let's just say they send a bunch of comic books to Chicago. Their fear is that I could sell it to somebody in a city where there are these obscenity laws, and if something happens, now this is a damn good chance nothing will ever happen, but let's just say it does, and somehow it gets tracked back to the printer, yeah, they can actually get in trouble. One of the bigger, like the biggest company, they don't print adult comics because there are now a lot of women who work at the print. I don't know if it's a lot of them, but there are women who work at these companies, and they were kind of getting offended by these books. And I know there are people out there who are kind of like, okay, offense. Yeah, people do get offended, and if enough people get offended, they can actually cause people to change. So I'll be very honest, I was kind of shocked to see an actual adult comic being put out on the market. And of course, it's being, it's an indie comic, and I don't think you're going to actually see this on any comic store shelves. I definitely want to see what this comic book was going to look like, because even though I don't make straight up adult comics, now I'm still, mature readers, I do question sometimes, is the printer going to print this? Will the printer be, like we have a character called Rahab. And Rahab is a Sisterhood of Lilith's breeder. And she has, it's not like a big book. It's only like a 16 page or something, but she has a book and there's actual sex going on in the book. But, it's not X-rated, but it is enough for me to kind of stop and go, will they print this? And if they do, how long will they be willing to do so? Because offense is a real thing, and it will make people stop doing things. Offense and legality. Like I say, my printer really is kind of like, they're fine with printing most things as long as it's not, as long as it doesn't go as far as this book does and something. And again, I'm going to say this book is not like off the wall, but it's got some stuff in there. But that's it. This book is Lawful Evil, and this is an adults only book. So if you were a fan of the more edgier, more adult oriented stuff from back in the day, you'll probably like this book. If you're a youngin', don't buy this. But other than that, you guys take it easy. Nathan Brendan Masters. Hasta.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die, looking through the eyes of a brand new